You're on Motorcycle Monkey. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about the 2022 Kawasaki Z900rs. We're talking about 948 cc's. It's a 4-stroke, 4-cylinder motor. I should say engine. Some people get angry with me about that. I realize it's combustible. So it's a 4-stroke, 4-cylinder engine. And this thing has a 32.9-inch seat height off the ground. I always mention this because I have a 29-inch inseam, though I'm 5'10". I always mention I'm like Dorf on golf. But I say that for anybody watching to wonder, how will this bike fit you? I thought it was going to be too tall. It's really not. On my toes just a little bit. Not bad at all. I don't feel like it's out of control when I'm sitting at a stoplight or a stop sign. Now, chain driven, it's protected chain too, by the way. I think aesthetically that looks better. And it also helps with debris on the road, maybe little things that kick up.
About 30 miles so far, comfortable. You lean slightly forward as you would expect on a cafe style bike, but still comfortable. No pressure on the hands, the elbows, the triceps. Oh, I was already in 6th gear trying to shift again. Running about 70 miles an hour at about 4,200 RPMs. Just about 80 miles an hour at about 4,800 RPM. About 5,000. Super smooth ride. Not feeling any kind of vibration, nothing. Very, very smooth at this speed on the freeway so far.
This is the RS line of the 2022 Kawasaki Z900rs, and that just means it's a little bit less aggressive in the seating. It's more comfortable.
Right.
And this one right here is 948 cc's, which means plenty of power. It's 474.1 pounds, which to me is about a middleweight bike, lightweight to middleweight. Easy to maneuver around. It really rides nicely. It's super quick. This is a quick bike. I was actually quite surprised by this.
Really?
Yeah, it's chain driven. It is 4-cylinder. And this really is, it harkens you back to the retro days of this style of Kawasaki's. That's probably in your mind, if you have any uncles that rode like I did, you know, they're out there kind of like just tooling around the streets. They probably looked like this. I wouldn't say quite as pretty because this is a candy tone blue.
Yeah.
But they've really done this nicely. This actually has Kawasaki traction control, 2 different levels. If you were to come over here and just look at this, and I'll back up just a little bit for you there.
Yeah.
I know we're just trying to follow protocol. So right there, if you just look, and in the middle of the screen, and I'll do this, you can see that you can change your Trip A, Trip B selector. I can choose to be in Kawasaki traction control 1 or 2. You can have it off if you want. But either way, it's the style of riding you want to do. That's what that's for. Do you want all the grip? Do you want to be aggressive? Do you want it kind of in a sport mode? Do you want it to have better traction in the rain on slippery roads? They've thought of all these things on this bike, and it really is a nice homage to this line, and they're selling really well. I got on this bike and immediately loved it. And I was afraid it was going to be too far forward, but it wasn't. So,
not difficult or scary to ride then?
Okay, so I wouldn't say this is a beginner bike at all.
Okay.
I would say that you definitely want to have a little bit of experience on a bike. So let's say you started to ride, I would say this might be your second bike after you've ridden for a while. That's just my opinion.
Sure.
But there are some people who hop right on and just get right to it. So there's so much about this though. You've got...
well, she's a beauty.
Yeah, you have dual throttle control, which helps you still take advantage of the power, but without the jerkiness, and it doesn't make it too much to handle.
What's the base price here we're talking?
Manufacturer suggested retail price is $11,749. You can go to Kawasaki.com. There's a lot more to this bike, so much to it.
Time to head into the monkey shop. I love seeing what people think of the bikes that I review. We shall see what they think here. Morning!
A few folks are checking this bike out. I love it. You gonna get on? We got Nick over here.
Yes.
Shelly's checking it out. You got Chuck and Michael.
Yeah, make sure you don't have a
That is a nice looking bike. What do you think, dude? More comfortable than you would have thought, right? Because it looks like you're gonna lean forward.
Yeah, most definitely. And I don't feel like I'm, up and exposed. I feel like I'm one with a bike.
Yeah.
Very nice retro feel to it. Let's fire it up and give it a run.
If I had the key in it. And I wanted to give you a quick view of what your instrument panel looks like in the day versus the evening. I really think it's bright. It shows up very nicely, easy to read. That's a great feature. And I want to go over the specs and some other features on this bike. You'll have a full list of them in the description below as well. But it's 948 cc's. It's a 4-stroke, 4-cylinder engine. It's liquid cooled. It's a 6-speed transmission, chain driven. You've got 72 foot-pounds of torque. It's a 32.9-inch seat height, which with a 29-inch inseam, again, I say this every time, I want to tell you the length of my legs so you understand in comparison to you, will this bike fit you? 474.1 pounds is your curb weight. It's a 4.5-gallon tank. And as you heard me say on television with Liz, $11,749 suggested retail price from Kawasaki.com. It's got an assist and slipper clutch, so it's a lighter clutch feel and a smoother downshift if you have to stop quickly. It's got dual throttle valves, and these allow you as a rider to take advantage of the power and the thrust on this bike while taming the throttle response so it's not jerky or too much to handle. It also has an economical riding indicator. I was trying to show you that on the gauge, but my fat hands were in the way. It's just a little thing that says Eco in the bottom corner of your instrument panel. When you see the Eco on the screen, it means you're conserving fuel, kind of like an attaboy or girl. Good job on saving gas. Kawasaki traction control, and this helps maintain traction if the road's slippery or if you want to ride harder in sport mode. It really depends on your mood and riding style. Do you want the full performance to go faster on this bike or more stability? This even has sound tuning. It's a specific sound that Kawasaki makes when you fire this bad boy up, right? Again, you've got the specs down below in the description. I really appreciate you watching. Please ride safely, and I will see you on the next one.